A literal equation is any equation containing two or more variables. So for example, we could have 2x plus 8y plus 3z is equal to 24. So here's an equation that has three different variables. Or something like in our last lesson where f is equal to 9/5 c plus 32, an equation containing two variables. So what we're going to do in this lesson is take one of these literal equations and solve it for one of the given variables. So like for this one here, you could be asked to solve this for x, for y, or for z. You could be asked to solve this one for either variable, however, really it only makes sense to solve for c since f is already solved for in this case. So let's try this out in example 1, just to see what it looks like. I want to solve this equation for the variable y. We can use all the strategies that we had for linear equations on these equations as well. So if I want to isolate the y, I need to get rid of this 2x and this 3z. So I'm going to start by subtracting those from both sides of the equation. So first, I guess I'll subtract the 2x. When I do that, I'm left with 8y plus 3z is equal to, and then I get 24 minus 2x. All right, so next, I need to get rid of this 3z, so I'll subtract that from both sides. And I'm left with 8y is equal to 24 minus 2x minus 3z. My last step is to get y by itself, so I can divide both sides by 8. And when I do this, I have y is equal to, and I can leave this as one fraction, 24 minus 2x minus 3z all over 8. And this is a completely fine answer. You don't have to break this up into a couple of fractions, but we have solved for y. The thing to point out is when you solve a literal equation, your answer is not going to be just a number. It's going to depend on the other variables in your equation. So this is an acceptable answer for this problem. So let's try this idea, but with the conversion between Fahrenheit and Celsius. I want to solve this formula for the variable c. So that means my answer is going to obviously depend on f. Now, one reason you might want to do this is if this equation is solved for c, I can now take a Fahrenheit degree and convert that to Celsius. Well, let's see. If I want to solve this thing for the variable c, I'm going to start by subtracting 32 from both sides of my equation. Okay, if I do that, I get f minus 32 is equal to 9/5 c. If you'd like at this step, you can in one move multiply both sides by 5/9 to get c by itself. So this is the approach I'm going to take. You could break this up into two steps where, okay, I want to get rid of the 5, so you could multiply both sides by 5. You would then want to get rid of the 9, so you'd have to divide both sides by 9. This is a nice trick where you can, in one step, get rid of this whole fraction by multiplying by its reciprocal. That is, I'm going to take 5/9, and I'm going to multiply that to both sides of my equation. On the left, we have 5/9 times f minus 32. And on the right, we have 5/9 times 9/5 c. So if you're trying to get rid of a fraction, you can multiply both sides by its reciprocal. This is because on the right side of your equation, in this case, the 5's cancel, the 9's cancel, those are all just 1's, meaning the variable that's left over is c. And on the left side of my equation, I can leave it just like this, 5/9, and then f minus 32. You could distribute the 5/9 if you'd like, but it's really fine to leave your answer just like this. So I'm just going to copy this over. C is equal to 5/9 f minus 32. So now to the second part of our question where I want to use this to convert 88 degrees Fahrenheit into degrees Celsius. So what I'm going to do is take this value for f and plug it in right here and simplify my formula. C is equal to 5/9 I'll put 88 in place of f, and then just simplify this down to one number. I'm guessing we're going to have maybe some type of repeating decimal, so I'm just going to do this directly in my calculator. So we are subtracting 32 from 88. So we have 5/9 of 56. So this is what I'm just going to multiply in my calculator. Multiply by 5, divide by 9. So I get C is equal to, it's 3 point, and then it's a repeating bunch of ones. I'm just going to round this to one decimal point. But what this says is, if you have 88 degrees Fahrenheit, that is equivalent to 31, approximately 0.1 degrees Celsius. And that is it for this example.